Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Merry Christmas! Look at me. I couldn't find any of my clothing today for Christmas, so I had to borrow my missus's top. And I got some tinsel. Tinfoil hat though. But you know, I'm trying to come in the spirit. I don't think like Christmas is just one day of the year. I think it's for the whole month.
Isn't it, really?
That's what I like to see Christmas as. But anyway, today is about this man over here. He's a very special friend of the bus. You've met him before. He's bloody lovely. Let's get in, Joey Collins.
Hello.
You like it when I go for it, don't you?
I do, yeah.
How are we doing, brother?
Good, matey.
Do you like the Christmas period?
Yeah, I guess. I hate the consumer side of it, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, I say that because I used to work at Sainsbury's in Ripley, actually.
Yeah, Ripley's.
Yeah, Ripley. And it was just you find like a new level of appreciation for like retail stuff. I think once I worked there, because it was like just non-stop, like everyone's going mad for it, you know.
Yeah, they get a little bit aggy around this time, do you know, because it's Q.
Yeah,
and they're all trying to get the best turkey in that.
Plus with the corona thrown into the mix, it's like, you know, I think my mum was telling me the other day she got upset because some woman ended up having a go at her in Tesco.
All right. What over?
Getting too close, yeah.
Really?
But apparently my mum wasn't. She was at least 2 meters away, and even the cashier said the same. But this woman obviously just had a bad day, and she just let it out on my mum. My mum's just so sweet and like quite an anxious person, and it ruined her day. You know, she messaged me and she felt awful about it.
Needed to console in Joey.
Yeah, and I said same. I said, you know, she probably just had a bad day and took it out on you. But
when you're going through something like that, it's the best way to actually be an empath, isn't it? And to think about what are they going through. I saw the other day somebody like bit at me, but then I got bitey back, and then he went, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and then told me like all this thing that had been happening in his life. Like, I've just broke up with a missus, I've had a fight with my brother, and telling me that, I was like, oh brother, come here. I started working it out, and you get on a good level with people, I think. Because that does seem to be the case. Like, Christmas is already like a bit of a bitey, everyone's a bit tense. To times that by 10, with Corona being the case,
it's going
to be a strange month, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I must admit, like, I came back from travelling, as you know, with this like gonna save the world attitude, and I was a bit of a mardy git, really. I was this hippified attitude of like, oh, Christmas, man, it's all consumerism, fuck Christmas and that. And now I've just got to this place where I really love it though. If you take the concept away, this little girl I was helping out the clearing the house out yesterday in my van. Mike Van Man, by the way, guys.
Shameless plug.
She just said something. Oh, the tree's gone. It's all gone wild. She said, I said, are you looking forward to Christmas? And she said something beautiful. She's like, well, I like the concept of Christmas. I was like, how old are you? She was like 12. But that was my attitude, was coming back being like, oh, it's all consumer, it's all money making. But if you can take the good bits away and the good traits, like it's bringing families together.
That's what I was about to say. It's like the side I love to it is the togetherness, the warmth and cozy nights in, mulled wine.
Yeah,
you know, it still has a little sense of magic.
And singing all the songs.
It's family's everything, isn't it? And it's like Christmas is perfect for that. It's the perfect excuse to see your family and have a good time.
And I think it's just when you've got expectation for something, when you're desperate for something to be the perfect archetypal form that we see in the films, that's when disappointment comes.
Yeah.
But if you can just take it for what it is and just enjoy all them moments, let's have a really good one.
We need it, don't we, after this year? We need to round up with a bit of positivity.
100%. Have you been writing any songs for it? Have you been
for Christmas?
Yeah. I think you could do a Christmas number one.
I've actually been thinking about trying to write a Christmas song.
Really? I
was about to say...
Every musician must have gone through that period of trying to write the number one Christmas song.
Because I feel...
It's when the dollar comes in, isn't it?
Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
every year, baby.
You only need that one song, and them royalties keep you going for life. I don't know. I think it's difficult. I think if I tried to write a Christmas song, it would just kind of. I feel like I'd copy the other ones.
It's
too
impossible,
much.
isn't
Do you know what I mean? Like
everything's got to have been
all
done.
the words, the connotations, snow and family and
together.
And I'd feel like to write a really good new original Christmas song, that would be something special. Because you think about all the Christmas songs they play every year, they're the same ones, aren't
What's
they?
your favourite?
Probably the Pogues, Fairy Tale of.
I love that one. They're not playing it this year, are you? What's your take, man? What's your take?
Grow up.
The podcast's been banned now, censored.
I mean,
I get it. I try and be nuanced with every perspective I've got now, meaning like the balance, the grey area. I don't go black or white with it. I'm like, well, let's think on everyone's perspective. And if you're a gay person and you're in a pub and everyone's screaming that lyric out at the top of their lungs, the line, like...
But does he mean that in that context?
I don't know. That's what I'm going to get on to. Like, I can understand their perspective of feeling uncomfort.
For sure, I totally get that.
Says it in that way, but again, like, I don't think it. I think he's just being aggressive in the song. I think he's just trying to say whatever he can to hurt this person. But no, she's talking to him, isn't she?
Right.
You're a cheap loud. Is the word.
Yeah.
I'm very torn on it. I don't want anyone to feel stress or discomfort when listening to music.
I'm totally with you on that.
I think the way I would perceive that song is it's a concept of an arguing couple. You've got to just leave it to that premise. You've got to leave it to them having that argument, that dispute.
I think, here's what I think. I think, I totally agree with everything you say on that word. Like, I don't know if the songwriters wrote it with that in mind even, but I get how it can be offensive. So I do see it, but the problem I have is I don't know how you can rewrite history or rewrite. It's like people still listen to Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah.
Where's the line with it? There's
separating the artist from the actions.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a tough kind of moral stance as well.
It's a really interesting thought, and as a lyric writer, as a poet, it makes me reflect on what I'd use in my poetry going forward. So I probably wouldn't use that line.
Oh God, no.
Much now if people go, oh, it makes me feel this way.
Yeah.
So we can grow from our history. We can learn from it.
I don't think we have to erase it though.
Man. I think what you just said then is even an epiphany moment for me, trying to piece things together and work stuff out. There's a lot to work out now though, so you can't be cemented on all your views.
Of course, yeah.
You've got to be flowing. But for this conversation, I think that is it. Don't erase your history. You don't have to pretend it didn't happen. We can look back at it. We can even smile at parts of it. But going into the future, what can we learn from it and not implement?
Definitely.
Oh, mate, that's a snippet.
Yeah, definitely, though. It's strange, and I didn't know they took it off radio, to be honest.
Radio 1, there was a lot of articles around, I think it was a few weeks ago, but they were just saying, we're not going to play the song, and it was for that reason.
Okay, yeah. I didn't even know that. But it's interesting. I think there's a lot of examples as well, isn't there? Probably across.
They could have just censored it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just love the song. I really love the song.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even think twice until someone like Radio 1 then says, oh, well, ban it, which sheds, I guess, the light on
totally eradicate the whole song from airplay. Again, I'd be really interested for somebody who feels the opposite, though, to be in touch and just say,
for sure,
listen, this is how it's always made me feel. I don't appreciate this song in this light, and this is why I think Radio 1 made a good choice. And
definitely,
I hold my hands up and go, okay, I'll listen to
that. I have to say, I just want people to be happy.
I know you do. That's what I really appreciate.
I'm not coming from an angle where it's like, oh, they should have that word and they should use it.
You're passionate about it, like, get the song back.
Yeah, I'm not, definitely not.
Boycott Radio 1.
Definitely not saying that. It's interesting. yeah, it's interesting to think about.
So let's go on, man. You came on about 5 months ago, we worked out, and I ballsed it all up, so I'm very sorry.
It's all right,
we had
mate.
the mics on the wrong way. It was
Wasn't
out of
meant to be.
sync.
Wasn't meant to be.
I've learnt a lot since then, though, so this is going to be perfect.
All right,
Crisp.
I'll hold you to it.
Oh, I can't wait. So you've been on a bit of a journey since that 5 months period. You've been looking into teaching, you've been making a lot of your own music, you're a fucking #1 hit in Turkey. I don't know what happened there, like you've gone crazy for Turkey. So what have you been doing, man? What's this path been?
Yeah, it's been super productive for me because I don't think I've wrote so much music during this, lockdown, because it's forced me to stay at home. I'm not going out, and I'm just constantly creating every day and really trying to hone my craft, like work on my guitar skills, work on my production skills. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this time. I've missed gigging for sure, but like last Friday I got to play for Dean at Metronome.
I
Dean
saw
Jackson.
that, man. That must have been a big
for me.
moment
That
for
was
you.
like pretty much like I've been aiming to do that for a good 4 years.
Really?
So it was just I feel like it's one off the bucket list now.
What did you get? Like an email through?
Dean messaged me and he said like I've been wanting to get you on for a while for one of these sessions, but obviously we're locked down and that's been quite difficult. It was recorded under a strict social guidance and all that, and they did a cracking job at Metronome. But it was just a beautiful experience. Like I hadn't felt that much pressure, because it was pressure I put on myself.
Give us a painting of that room then, because what is it like? Is there an audience there?
So there's no audience due to, obviously.
How many people would be in that room together then? Not to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah,
There are hundreds, mate.
About 5,000. Yeah. Nah, rough estimate, probably like 20.
Right, so like a production
So
team.
you've got your sound team, you got your film camera team.
Was it really was it perfect?
Yeah,
It
it worked, because Metronome's quite a relatively new venue. Have you been at Metronome?
Didn't see Unknown Era play.
Yeah.
I think it was Hockley Hustle or something. It was
Cool,
one of the
yeah.
festivals on, and it was.
It's a beautiful venue, though, isn't it?
Just before lockdown, that was.
Yeah. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd been at past and seen a few acts there, and I always looked at that and was like, oh, I'd love to play Metronome. And yeah, it was just BBC do their sessions there, so came together nicely, and I had to form a band last minute, really, because my usual band, they all couldn't make it because work commitments and stuff.
Right, okay.
So we had one rehearsal, me, Bo on guitar,
Wow.
Louis on drums, Harry Taylor on bass, he's one of my friends, and then
Composed like a super team. Who else?
and then a cellist as well,
Right.
Tamar on cello, and yeah, we had one rehearsal for it, and yeah, went in for it, and we went for the kill.
How did you pick that team together, your band members, and why did you go for them instruments like cello and so on? Like,
Well, I mean, for the traditional instruments like guitar and bass and drums, like I didn't think twice about it, because that's part of the sound I use. But I mean, I even use cello in some of my songs, but I'll record it MIDI.
right?
But to actually have a live cello is, it's a total different experience, and I find that instrument and the stringed instrument so beautiful.
Powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess I was thinking back to some of my influences, like MTV Unplugged back in the 90s. It'd be, obviously like Nirvana, Something in the Way.
Well, would they have a cello with
They had a
them?
cellist on that
I
performance.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
they're kind of like iconic performances in the 90s, and for me, listening to that music, I kind of want to take a bit of influence for that.
Yeah.
And I thought it's a little bit different actually as well.
Mirroring your heroes.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of taking that rock sound, but adding in something classical like a cello. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like an opposite.
Yeah.
Clash of sounds in some respect, but it sounds beautiful. Like,
Because it's a big room, isn't it, Metronome?
yeah, it's really big.
How did you feel it? Like the sound? Was it just a beautiful ambience? What was it like in that room?
Hopefully. I mean, it's funny because I'm hearing stage side, so it's like I'm hearing my my wedge, my monitor.
Yeah.
So like I'm not hearing like the reverb or what probably the crew would be hearing.
Yeah.
So when I watch it, when everyone else can watch it, I guess that's when I'll.
Oh, when's it coming out, dude?
It should be. I think he said a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
But it's a strange experience too, because it's kind of. Because it's pre-recorded, and you go in, you set up, and you do your sound check, and then you do the 2 songs back to back.
Yeah.
And then there's this obviously the pressure of like, oh, okay, fuck, this is getting filmed.
Yeah,
it's for BBC,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything I've been working for. I've been dreaming of doing something like this for 4 years, and now it's happened. But there ain't no time to. What I described it to Bo was after we played, I was like, it's very I said to him, we got in the car, I was like, it's very conscious, isn't it? Like everything's very conscious because there's cameras there.
Yeah.
So then to still kind of switch into
The zone.
which I think I did, but still the anticipation and all that is definitely there.
It sounds like a great learner for you to
Really,
progress as an artist, because I suppose that's what big artists have to deal with on the daily.
Definitely, yeah.
And you can only learn by doing.
Exactly.
On your craft, but that sounds like a really pivotal moment for you as an artist.
Yeah, it was, and I felt like it went exactly how I wanted it to go.
Really? So
Yeah.
you're not looking back at any moments like, oh fuck. Like,
Don't get me wrong. When it comes out, I will. I'm
There'll
sure
be a
because
couple of slips and-
I'm such a, I'm such a critic.
Perfectionist.
Yeah, and it's hard to like watch back performances of yourself, and just because I don't know, just to pick it apart, which is sometimes I don't really like watching my performances back.
I never do.
Yeah.
I suppose I'd learn from doing, but it's not who I am or what I want to be as an artist anymore. I just enjoy it.
Enjoyed the doing of it.
Yeah, like I've said before, and it's not really changed. It's a passion project for me. I love making film. I love creating stuff I'm proud of, but it goes no further for me anymore. I'm really comfortable in that position. So to critique myself and look where I could go, I think it's semi-unnecessary.
Yeah.
Unless I want to like make a better film or learn a better technique in that department. But yeah, in terms of where I'm at as an artist, is comfy. But you want to grow, don't you? You want to.
I want to make a living out of my art.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not shy in saying that, and I don't. It's this question of like how do you define making it? I mean, for me, I'd answer it with just I'd love to be able to make a sustainable living out of it. I don't.
The old term question.
Yeah.
How do you make it?
I
wrote a song called "Make It."
Oh, really?
With Johnny Ollie. It didn't come out, that one.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to hear how it went. I've got the lyrics still, but it's literally all about this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Of like, what is it to make it? Because it was about a year or a year and a half ago when I had certain people in my living room and we were doing songs all the time. But it was like churning it out, just constantly trying to make as many as you can. But it was to progress to get to a certain stage that they all wanted to be on this platform. But I always feel like when you listen to your heroes doing interviews, they're always like, oh, I realised when I got to that position, I'd missed all the cool steps on the way. Do you know what I mean? I missed all the enjoyable little encounters. And they actually, reflect on the more wholesome aspects of what they enjoyed was getting together with your mates, performing at them little bars and just having a laugh.
Yeah.
And I started to miss that because I was looking at making it and trying to be this artist.
Yeah, and I've always tried, I totally get that and all, like, I've always tried to be very conscious of enjoying the creative process. I enjoy playing gigs. I've learned to take each day as I come, and I've always said that now. It's like, if I don't make it sound, it doesn't change whether I'm going to be still doing my music. Doesn't change who I'm going to be. It's just something, if I could obviously make a living off it, I don't have to worry about delivering pizzas.
So is that
what
making it is for you then, basically?
Yeah, God,
being able to sustain yourself.
Yeah, to be able to sustain myself, to basically create more and have more freedom and possible finances to buy more guitars and buy more equipment.
Well, that sounds like a great attitude, and I think implementing that in your life, you're very wise to go in that direction. It's when people just want more, like money. It's just endless.
And when's enough, isn't it?
You don't know when enough is.
I'd rather have like a wealth of knowledge and experience than, a wealth of, artificial, fame and
I think that's it. If you have created a space where you have a lot of time, where you can create and make and do what your passion, the more you can do it, you're making it in my eyes in that realm. And I think I've managed to do that now, having the buses, putting on events, seeing other people do that. It still gives me time and space to collaborate, to meet cool people, and get back in and work in the lab and put my words together again.
Yeah.
I've found that fine balance and tune with that. Are you on that journey then? Are you close to getting that place?
I think like what you just said, I'm already making it.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult because there have been moments throughout like the past 4 or 5 years, you know, when you're finding your sound and finding who you are as an artist, and you know, maybe people are getting more successful quicker than you, and you kind of have a look inwards and think, oh, am I doing something wrong? And but I've always been raised to just, you know, be true to myself, and I'll never create something that I don't have fun doing and that I don't want to do. So I never want to be sucked into that industry, you know, formula of like, you need to change it. It's funny because me and my missus watched the Star Is Born the other day.
Oh God.
I put it on actually.
And, I fell asleep in the bus watching it, but I just woke up to Chrissy like crying her eyes out.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then the credits come on. I was like, what happened?
Boy, you missed the ride.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's just like, I guess what I was trying to say is, it's, you know, in that film, the label start changing her completely, like how she sounds, and you know, less clothing's being worn out of nowhere, and all these changes, and in the end, you can see like it's not who she was as that artist in her most authentic way.
Just a phenomenal voice, a passion for it.
Yeah,
and that's the truth.
Yeah, and she was singing like this to begin with. She was singing in this bar. This drag bar actually, and she's just like, you know, killing it, and she's a star there.
Yeah.
And then obviously she goes on this massive, you know, journey of success. But I don't know, it kind of honed in on this, like the fame and all that. It's like, you know, it's not all cracked up to what it's, you know, once you go down there, you can't go back.
There's a desperation behind it, isn't there?
And I think people think they're gonna be happy. It's like, once I get to this point, I'll be happy. Once I sell X amount of records, then I'm successful.
That's Alan Watts I really like.
Yeah, Alan Watts.
And
cool.
I remember I love two things: Alan Watts and South Park. They're my two. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone are heavily influenced by Alan Watts. They like a lot of his teachings, philosophies, and they did a series of like 6 animated version, like South Park style, but done over Alan Watts talks.
Really?
I'll send
what's
you
that called? Yeah,
it's
I'd love
so
to see
good.
that.
It's just type in Alan Watts South Park.
Cool.
But one of them is Music is Life, and it's a 2-minute video, but literally explains this perfectly. And they don't even have to explain it in music. He says like how we're programmed is always looking for the next thing. And it's like we go to school to get these grades, to go to this bigger school. We go to this bigger school all with the premise of we're going to get these other grades to get to uni, and at uni we're going to chase a job. To get the job we've got to get a
promotion
quota, and it goes all the way up, and then it gets to this boss at the end, and he tips this pot of money which is empty, and they realise like the whole way through this process they've missed the dance on the way. And he says like, it's a beautiful way of putting it, and he's like, with music, if it was to get to the end destination the quickest, it'd just be a big crashing sound, and that'd be the perfect song. But we don't. We have this symphony. We have this like build up and movement throughout all of it. And the way he explained that, I watched that video and was like, I need to change my whole outlook, my whole process of what I'm doing and what I'm creating, because you do lose sight. If you're always looking forwards, you just don't remember like the goal ahead of you and what you're doing in that moment.
And I think that's the beauty of music and creating. It's creating itself. It's not like, don't get me wrong, it's always cool when you've worked on a song and you've spent hours mixing it or collaborating on it, and then you release it out to the world. And to me that's just like cool. I've kind of, you know, shedded my skin off that one layer for that song. What's next? It's not like I'm just going to sit on that song, only only a few people like it. Oh, give up, man.
Do you have a favourite moment of when you're in that process? Because I love it, like
Flow state for sure.
Flow state. It's like lyrics for me, obviously, is the one. But when I just get an idea of a concept, like a thought comes through. I've watched a film. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool for this poem. And I get a first line, and then I'm like, oh, I'm away. And that's my moment of like a real burning desire to start writing then. Do you get that? Or is it in the actual musicality side of it?
I think...
Like the whole process for you. I can feel it in your head. You're like...
I think it's different all the time with me.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I can sit down and I can just be having a little tinkle on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going in with, any desire to I'm going to write a song today. I feel like my formula, if I go, I'm going to write, I ain't writing shit that day.
Yeah.
It's more, usually comes from a place of like, something's happened or an experience or, something you have to do it. It's more like a necessity, I guess. Sometimes I like lately I wrote a song called Resist Nothing, which will be out on the EP this month, and that whole song was kind of like part of the creation process. It was like me writing about writing.
Okay.
And it's like,
Very
resist
meta.
nothing. Yeah, no, don't resist, resist nothing, and just what'll be will be. Because I think sometimes it's easier of going down that rabbit hole of trying to, I'm going to write this sort of song, or I'm going for this sound.
It comes across, doesn't it? Like, when something's been contrived and like forced, and you're like, oh, are you writing that through experience and because you want it to write that, or is it because what the mainstream's asking for and what you think people want to hear?
Yeah.
And I've definitely felt that in people, so, particularly with your busking session, man. Not you were like that. No, it's the other way around. Like your lyrics were so honest, so genuine, so pure. Like I could tell that was in a flow state when you wrote that. It was just fully passion driven. And like, what was that a conscious choice to always write with that way incline? Was it a conscious choice to be the most honest Joey when you're writing?
I think so. I think I'm a big believer in like I say, like writing truth and like the songwriters I idolise and that they seem to be like writing authentic music and music they want to release.
Especially like Jeff Buckley and
your John Frusciante's and your Richard Ashcroft of The Verve and so many.
Jeff Buckley did a cover of that, but one of my favourite is Satisfied Mind. Have you heard his version of it?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty much
beautiful.
Summarises everything we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
so many times. Oh. Wait, what does he say? Then there's something to say. What's the lyric?
So many times.
Have I heard people say, if I had money, I would do things my way.
Yeah.
Oh man, guys,
Buckley,
go
check
and find
out.
that song. Watch, listen to the lyrics, and it's another level.
His lyrics were just. His songs make me cry. Like when I've been like most lost in life, I seem to kind of gravitate towards listening to Jeff, and it's like. I remember one of my girlfriends like years ago said that. She was like, when you're like most fucked up, you seem to listen to him a lot. She's like, what's up? You've been listening to Jeff today? And it kind of was like, I never thought of it. I was like, shit, she's right. But I don't know.
Take a moment away, like, oh shit, I'm not good.
But I find his honest songwriting so comforting.
He is.
It's like there's a lyric in, I think it's Love You Should Come Over. What is it? Sometimes a man. What is it? Sometimes a man must await to find that really he has no one.
Oh God!
And
I can tell you're in a dark place, dude.
Yeah, and it was just like some of these, lyrics were just like, jeez. And as a songwriter, it really made me go introspective. And I guess the songs you saw me play on the bus was like a Fool. I wrote a song Family, which isn't out, but that was about like. Me,
you had me in tears, man. That was a big one.
It was it was such a strange experience. It was beautiful, but it was terrifying because it was a song I wrote about my folks splitting up when I was a kid. Part of the song was, and it was kind of me saying like, look, I love you both, like the same. I don't, don't blame yourselves ever, because I needed them to know that. If anything happened, I just needed them to know like I didn't hold any resentment. And then the other part of the song was like losing my Nana doll, and it was like, it was for her. And like during that time, I was battling like a lot of personal demons at the time, and it was just a combination of them two things. It was like almost I never thought I could play it live. So when obviously I did it here, it was like I never played that song live even, and it was kind of almost therapeutic to like literally like just.
You created an energy in this bus that I'd not been in for a long time.
Well,
it's very powerful.
I'm glad it like hit home because I guess that's kind of what I want with my songs. I want that connection. I want people to kind of. I want it to be, impactful. I don't want it just to be some performance where it's just like, okay, who's on next then?
Do you feel your writing really does come from the best place when it's the most hurt you've been?
Probably.
Like, have you got any songs you wrote from a really happy place?
Yeah, I got. It's funny actually because this EP that's out this month, most of that, I mean, it's called IKIGAI, which is a Japanese concept. It's like finding your reason for being. So like, I remember reading this book. It was like this famous sushi chef, like the most famous sushi chef in Japan, and he cooked for Barack Obama.
Oh, respect.
Yeah. And like, but this guy, like, his IKIGAI was catching the freshest fish in the morning. Okay. So he'd get up at like 4 a.m. to catch, the freshest fish.
Yeah.
So that's his IKIGAI, and finding my IKIGAI was music and creativity.
Oh, I love that.
So like I really wanted to, because I've wrote a lot of real hard, vulnerable music, quite introspective.
What's the word again?
IKIGAI.
IKIGAI.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I wrote that song, and then I wanted to call the EP after that because I thought it was a great concept. And instead of having my usual sad boy songs, I thought, let's try and do some positive stuff.
Upbeat, major chords.
Exactly, yeah. So I did a song called "Take Your Pain and Turn It Into Art," which has been like a mantra of mine for years. And it's funny because I've had that kind of mantra in so many songs in the past that they're not out there in the world now because I took them down. But
we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But like that song's quite upbeat and quite funky. And what else have I got on this new one? There's another song called "A Ode to the Lost Souls," which it sounds terribly sad, but it really isn't. It's like this.
Got quite an optimistic message.
I guess it's this is going to sound so emo right now. It's like, how do I say
evangelical
this?
Man.
It's I guess it's celebrating death, and I don't mean that like death is good I mean it in the fact that it's a sad thing, isn't it? But when someone passes, but it's very important to remember all the moments. And "An Ode to Lost Souls" was.
I think that's a great attitude, man. It's not emo at all. Like,
I didn't want to sound like I was going like, yeah,
it's important to know, like, things are concepts, and we've built up relationships with what we've been told to experience, I suppose. Like, when there's a wedding, everyone be happy. When there's a funeral, everyone be sad. And I get the concepts behind it, but there are places in the world and tribes that when there's been a death, they go in the streets and they celebrate together and have a big party. And you've got to understand, we have been conditioned for many things, and there's been many ways of being told to feel. Like, even with my birth, like, God, I felt happy, but before going in, there's so many, my birth, with Chris's birth, but so I see my daughter, we've both been told, you're going to feel this emotion, you're going to get this feeling, this is going to happen. And, when women in particular get like, what is it, postnatal
depression.
Yeah, I feel it's because they've been told they should feel a certain way. You should feel like this, you should get this attachment, you should feel that. And when they don't, because we didn't straight away, we were like, what is happening? This is weird, this is alien. And because we were like, right, I'm only going to feel how I want to feel because that's authentic to the moment, and that's how we did feel. people build up ideas of what they should. So yeah, I love that you've wrote a song about death and giving it another spin.
Yeah,
because people do go, oh, we should all be like here now, shouldn't we? And it's like, no, like let's go for them beautiful moments we all shared together.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very, I find when I've lost people along the way, it forces me to evaluate life in in a way I don't normally every day, because obviously when someone's gone, you really think about everything.
Yeah.
And like
changes perspective.
Yeah,
perspective.
Time's limited, and it kind of encourages me then to make the most even more out of life. And the song got inspired initially because my girlfriend's granddad passed away at the start of lockdown, and she couldn't say goodbye to him. She didn't see him. So like it kind of just started off as that there he goes, he's never coming back. He never got a chance to say goodbye. And then I kind of linked her kind of experience with losing her granddad to me losing my nana a couple of years ago. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just this very I guess analysis of death, but in a lighter way, I guess. It's not all doom and gloom, and I sure as hell know that my nan wouldn't want me to be like moping around. And basically when she did pass, I didn't deal with it well at all. But I put the work in to do her proud now, I'd hope to think.
I'm really looking forward to hearing that song.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, is that in the next EP, you say?
Yeah, it's out now, actually.
It's out now, okay.
That one's out.
That's
but,
my today listening.
Sound. Appreciate that, buddy. But yeah, the EP is going to be out on the 15th of this month. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of just round up this kind of cohesive chapter.
It's big, powerful moments in life, and having writing there to be able to document it and use it as like a cathartic tool.
God, yeah.
Is just so important. I suppose my interest is, though, it is the big moments in life, and particularly the sad moments in life, that we, after letting it sit, letting it calm over and managing to document back, that's where my favourite, particularly singer-songwriters, coming from that place, it really reflects with me. It really means something. Maybe I'm just a sad guy.
I feel the same.
It's interesting that I feel when something's good happening, we're doing and we're just loving life and having experience, but we're pretty much in the moment then. We're in the state of flow.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in pain and you're in a destructive part of your life, we're having so many thoughts constantly. We're in an endless loop of thought that maybe we've got so much lyricism to pick out from that. So when we've let it sort of settle, do you know what I mean?
It's a different state of consciousness.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that makes sense.
Like it really is, and I'm kind of at the point now where I've had my fair share of my mental health problems, and I feel like I've got it under control now. I've had my therapy. I'm on medication still, but life's beautiful for me now. I've never been this happy with myself, which was the key point and the problem in the first place. I just wasn't happy.
It's funny. My journey with writing all started and began from a really painful place, and going through like a losing somebody, psychosis in my mentality, really big struggles, and I wrote the best I've ever wrote from that. But then I didn't want to let go of feeling bad, because I knew that's where all my good content came from. When I started living in the happy realm and life became easier and more plain sailing, I really found it difficult to report back. And I think if you had a graph and it was like your saddest times are here at the top, the writing's like down at the bottom and you struggle like the saddest times are here, the other way round.
Yeah.
But when you're the happiest you feel, the writing just like it's hard to come through with something, isn't it? Do you go through that?
Definitely, man. Okay. And I was getting worried about that myself, because I feel like I wrote enough about me and being sad and taking that pain, turn it into art, dealing with it, dealing with loss, dealing with
You've had your healing process.
Yeah, I've had my healing, and I've documented that in my music. Yeah. So like, second EP is a bit more, like I say, IKIGAI, conceptual. And then I'm going to start probably thinking about writing from other people's experiences, and you know, not so personal, maybe more social commentary. I don't know, like, world's my oyster, innit? It's just,
Yeah, that's true.
so I've kind of looked at it that way, as opposed to.
And you've had all these emotions occur, so you've got poetic license with when you're being social commentary of somebody else's existence, you can still be an empath and go, what were they going through?
Yeah.
So you can still write good because you've got the knowledge to go
definitely.
into their shoes.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, anyway.
It works for me, brother.
Yeah, man, I just love making music. I'm at that point now, though. It's just like, I do just love creating. I find I'm at my happiest when I'm creating.
So let's go through that bit where you just took everything down. You were like, right, Joey's having a facelift. You got in touch with me, didn't you? Because was it at the similar time when you were starting in schools as well, or is this a bit before?
Nah. So in terms of releases, I released like 4 EPs in from, like, I don't know, 2015 to 2017.
Okay.
Took them all down.
Yeah.
I guess I got to the point, obviously, at the end of 2017, where I was just like, this was kind of like a trial run, or it didn't really, not that I wasn't being true in my art or anything, it was just, I didn't feel like I wanted that to be out there. Maybe I shouldn't have just released it in the first place. But hey, you live and learn.
Yeah.
And then,
what was up with it? What didn't you like about that in parts of your life? And
I wouldn't say exactly. It's like I didn't like the parts of my life. They were struggling times in my life, but that wasn't the reason. It was just more, you know, it's like I wanted something that felt like, yeah, this is what I stand for more. I can't really explain it.
You've developed over time a sound that you would connect to, and you would say, this is Joey Collins' music.
My problem was I oversaturated my own material.
Right,
so I released way too much too quickly.
Yeah.
And I was young. I was from like 17 onwards. Just kind of figuring out what.
Were you just churning them out?
I was just churning them out, and you know, I'd write a song, bang it out, write a song. Whereas now, it's like I do take into consideration like marketing it more, and like and people don't want to consume so much. So like me releasing 2 albums, which I've took down.
Who your fans are as well, like taking them into consideration.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I didn't really see myself as having any fans. So it was like I can create this new slate for myself. So, you know, all the stuff that's actually out there now, it's like I just see that as my first stuff, and
that was the stepping block. The first
it was like the tutorial of the level, I guess, or you know,
this is what you can do.
Yeah,
I think it's integral and important to go through that as an artist and look back at it. I've chosen to keep mine up because
which is totally fair.
It just shows the progression and what I'm about, and I'm rapping on a beat really weirdly, doing this like an American and then I'm like, oh, now I've got my sound, and it's more Mike Skinner flow, but Mikey flow. But I like looking back at the old stuff to go, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
I still do. Like I call it the vault. It's like I go through the vault, and there's, you know, there are songs that never even made the light of day. And
okay, but you have a little ganders at them now and then, and just to see where you're at.
It's terrible, man. Like some of the stuff, you know, probably for the time it wasn't, but looking back on it, you think. Oh,
but I think that's probably grown you quite quickly as an artist, because when you're creating content and music to be put up on a platform like YouTube, like Spotify, in that moment, you are still trying to make it the best it can be in that moment.
Gotcha.
So you're creating the ladder. You're creating steps all the time, the best steps that you could do in that moment. So making that choice to go back through and go, you know what, it's not my sound anymore. That's all whipping off.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that decision? Are you happy?
I'm more than happy with it. You know, because it just, like I said to you before, we're rolling.
Trial and error.
If I died tomorrow, and like that was left, you know, that is what's there.
Yeah.
I'd be rolling in my grave.
What did you do?
Yeah, I'd be like, why did I leave that up there? But I'm not too butthurt about it. It's just it is what it is. It's just a decision I made because
it was like, I think you told me though, it was like a moment of madness decision, wasn't it? It wasn't like I've been building up. Didn't you wake up and go?
Yeah,
everything's
I did.
Gotta go.
I won't. I go through little weird impulsive decisions like that. I'll be like,
we're so
just woke up like, nah.
Yeah.
Today's the day. Right, take it off. Cancel it.
What was prior to that moment? Had you been feeling that?
It must have been in my subconscious.
It was in your subconscious
somewhere.
to go.
I was just, I don't know, man. I don't even know myself anymore. But what's important is what's out there now.
What's out there now? And are you, when you reflect back and listen to that, are you really proud of it? Are you really happy with what you've done? I'm proud of it,
yeah. Hopefully in 5 years' time I won't go, fuck it, taking that down. No, I think...
when you're doing like grunge and emo music.
Yeah, I think I'm content now. I just... It was just... Yeah.
Would you say you've discovered... How old are you?
25 this month.
25 this month. Yeah. And have you discovered your sound? This is what Joey Collins is now?
Nah.
Okay. But you're probably going to leave this material on because that, again, is the stepping stone, but you're proud of this stepping stone.
Basically, EP1, which came out... I don't know when it came out. March this year or something. Okay. Proud of that. And to be fair, I'll be honest, some of the music that I took down... I made like a little compilation mini album called Meditate in Discomfort. And they were my favourite songs that I still wanted, at that time in my life, captured a certain sort of sound and story I was telling. I wanted them to be out, songs like Bukowski, Are You There? And Crawl, Ulcer, Desolated, Elevated. Them kind of songs. And I wanted them to be out there because I was proud of the recordings.
Yeah.
It was more from a production standpoint. The shit that I took off and didn't like it was my own doing.
Yeah.
It was my
Joey.
I've got Logic, thought I was producer out of nowhere and just releasing just some trash, and now I look back on it, I was just like, nah, take it off. But no, the stuff that's out now, like EP1, I love it, and it's part of the story just as much as songs that now aren't out there. Well, my dad's probably got on his iPod. They're still there and they still mean something of some form.
In your music, what would you say? What age were you? In which is the most influenced part of your music? So, what was the most exploration part of your life? How old were you? What was going on? And is that where the music's transcended from?
Good question. I know the exact.
It's a layered question.
I know the exact time, but it's weird because I
the date, the moment, the hour.
Literally. So it would be when my first proper introduction into when I the floodgates have opened, and it was like, holy shit, this is music. Yeah. And I'd never looked back since. It was hearing the Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was 6 years old, and my dad got into them around that time. Basically, I used to visit my dad on weekends in Wales, and I had a little, the CD-ROM things you have, and you have the little booklet with all your CDs. Yeah. And my dad was playing Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic and By the Way. And them two albums were I just remember listening on repeat. And they're funny because obviously the lyrics and especially Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic are just so not for a 6-year-old. I didn't have a clue what it was on about, but the music just resonated with me on a level where I was just like, right, this is what I want to be doing. Dad, so I got my dad to teach me bass when I was 8 years old.
Oh, was your dad a player, was he?
So my dad plays bass. He never played, shows or anything. He just played at home, and I always found that, really cool and interesting. So when I visited, I've got his bass, and it's this big, and he bought me my first bass, and I still got that bass. You'll hear it on all the recordings. Pretty much.
Is that what you use?
Yeah, I still use it.
Okay, love it.
It's like this little 3/4 one, baby bass, and what was I on about? So the Chili Peppers for sure, and then quickly after that, he was playing Led Zeppelin, Bob Marley, Finley Quaye, so I got quite a bit of reggae into my influence, and then loads of blues. He loved blues, so B.B. King, Hendrix, JJ Cale, Leonard Skinner, loads, just a real eclectic mix. He loves all kinds of music, and then even like world music, like what's the album? It's Rai Kuda and Ali Farka Touré.
Okay.
And it's like this complete fusion of like African.
Oh, love it.
Blues.
African blues.
It's a great album.
Got like the drums in.
Yeah. It's got all the instrumentation. It's like, I think it's called Talking Timbuktu. It's a fantastic album.
Heavily influenced with drums, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
African style.
Really nice, and
with a bit of blues in.
Yeah, it was just a great. And sorry, I'm banging on about all these different influences, but it's like even Celtic music.
Yeah.
We used to visit my auntie Lynn's cottage in Wales, and we'd just sit, and what we do is listen to music, have some drinks and that. Not when I was 6 at this point, but a bit later on, and listen to all kinds of music. But there was this Celtic album called Common Ground, which was like a compilation album, and it had like U2 was on it, Kate Bush, Brian Kennedy, who's this great Irish singer, and they were singing like they're all artists who have Irish connections.
Yeah.
And that album, it's just so not what you'd think I'd listen to, but I had it on the other day actually playing PlayStation. It was just and it just took me back to the nostalgia and those fondest memories of like spending time with my dad and my brother, and it's just my favourite time in life, that.
So you've got like six-year-old Joey who's like discovering his influences, but if someone was to ask me like what's Joey Collins as an artist, it's that lyricism. It's very thoughtful and thought-provoking lyricism. So you've got them influences together. What time in your life was, say, like the hardest part of your life that you're going through, and then is that coming into your music later on?
Oh, for sure. Hardest time was my like adolescence, really. It was like from 17.
Because like we've established, like the best writing you do is often
pain.
from a painful place. So I was just thinking, how old were you when you're going through this painful place? How long did it go on for? And like, that coming into your music.
Probably from
going on?
From 18 to 23.
Okay. So pretty recent still.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was super destructive.
Yeah.
A few years for sure. It was,
Were you
chaotic.
still writing through it?
Yeah. I mean, I was
all the way.
Always writing. Even.
Do you think that kept you like a grasp on it, like the thread?
It probably did. It's so strange to think back to now, because I feel like I'm talking about a different person. Because the way I thought and felt was just, it feels alien to this vessel I'm in right now. It's really weird to talk about, but I mean, for a start, it was like I found, through like alcohol and drugs, it was just an easy escape. And to begin with, it was like, this is fun. Like a lot of people get into it for it's fun. Yeah. And then I realised that my mates and all that, they could do it and they could deal with it. Whereas I had all, the mental health to deal with the next day, and I didn't realise at the time, but I was running from my problems. I wasn't dealing with them head on. Yeah. And I feel like that when I was at that age, it's a very scary age, like 18 and trying to, becoming a young man. It was like I didn't do well with like responsibility and pain and things going wrong. I didn't know how to deal with it, so I'd run away from it through substances. And then once I managed to kind of get out of that, which was a long roller coaster of setbacks and many therapists, many medications and perseverance. It was just like, and music, of course, it helped. But I don't really know. Was
there again a big moment that occurred? Was it like, for me, you said 18, I think mine was around that age. Was it a breakup? Was it a loss? Was it anything in particular where you're like...
With me, I was going through like an accumulation of things, really.
Just self-discovery, who you are.
I went through a big long-term breakup at one point, which was a catalyst for more destruction and
quite
more...
often for men, isn't it? That's a big one.
Definitely, man. And then the loss of my nan really did something to me, and I think that was a crucial point in me, you know, hitting the lowest of the low, and it was like, right, I'm done with this now. I'm done with, you know, punishing myself and in honouring her, like to be like, right, I'm gonna sort my shit out now.
That's a nice way.
I actually did a speech at a funeral and said that, and it was just like something that kind of just made me, I don't know, get the courage to finally be like, you know, enough's enough, and sort you sent out, and you know it's so weird to think back on that because I feel so detached from that. It's
who
like,
you were at that point.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's such an important moment. Yeah,
such a crucial part to not forget as well, isn't it? Because look how far we've come,
Don't
Joey.
erase your history.
Yeah, exactly. And look how far we've come, and you know, I don't regret any of it because, you know, I wouldn't be here with the experience and lessons learned from it. And you know, when I've had friends come up to me now with problems, I feel quite
educated, ready to
quite good at helping other people out in that aspect of things. And you know, why are you doing this, do you think? Like, have you tried, it sounds daft, but have you tried going for a run this morning?
Yeah.
See how you feel after that. And
was that how little ways you'd find to come out of it?
Baby steps, yeah.
Was it doing little...
Definitely, man. Like, exercise for me is detrimental. Like, it just completely lowered all my anxiety levels. It refreshed me. I can't really explain it. It's, you know, that runner's high is better than any artificial high I've had, you know, any chemical.
I remember when I was going through that patch, but like just drug-induced, like living on this really numbed down level. Just the one moment I was like, do you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to drink more water. There's a little baby step there, and I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And I honestly remember that day I came home, and it was such a buzz I'd not had before, because I was having parties on this farm, like, you wouldn't believe, parties. It was just basically one group of people would go, and I just needed people in my life to fill it up. Like, I was so empty. I needed other people to carry me on. So one party, a lot of people would go, and the next would come in, and it'd be a totally new, different set of faces. So there'd be like Nottingham crowd, then the Derby crowd, next day another Nottingham crowd, and they didn't even know each other, but I was not stopping, and they were all going home to do their bits and bobs, and it would like cycle on that sort of that
were like me in London. It were like I was the last one to go home.
Mate,
first one out, last one home.
I've always said this about us two. We're very similar characters.
Yeah.
So going through all that, I think I did that for 3-4 months. I'll go and ask my mum and dad later, because they'll know more than me.
They haven't forgot.
Never will.
Yeah.
But it was just a whole like blur for me now.
It's so hazy.
That moment, I just made a conscious choice and decision to, tomorrow I'm going to go out for a walk on my own with some headphones on, and I'm going to have 2 big pints of water. That's what I'm going to do better for my day tomorrow. I'll never forget it. I will never forget that moment, because I felt so differently. I was like, oh, it's small steps. It's
chipping
just,
away, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to have that party tonight. I'm going to stop everyone coming over, and I'm going to get some sleep. And just taking moments like that.
Yeah.
And it's really integral to the mind, just being aware of where you're at and being honest with it. Because when I was smoking loads of weed and doing all these drugs, for a long part of that, I wasn't being honest. I was like, it's not detrimenting my financial stability. I've still got money, look. It's not my health. Like, I can run. No.
Yeah,
really,
I was in denial and all.
Really reflect. Don't be in denial. You've got to go through, like, how your daily occurrences are, and if you think it could be bettered by eradicating something or implementing something, you should try and do that.
Yeah, totally, man. Word.
Yeah, word up, brother. So do you know where your direction's going? I mean, we're in weird times. We did this podcast 5 months ago, just at the cusp of these weird times. You've been through it all now. Have you settled? Are you ready for like phase 2 when we're out of the COVID world?
You know, this year's been the most successful year for me. I've got to say, it's like, COVID aside, even at the start of the year, I had a gig in Derby at the venue supporting James Walsh of Star Sailor.
Nice.
Who my mum used to listen to in car.
Oh, what was her reaction when you
She came and watched and all, and yeah, it was just magic, man. Like, you can't beat that feeling. It was just, you know,
Does your mum usually go to your gigs or just for that one?
She normally goes to like my headline shows.
Yeah.
Bless her. I normally get on merch. I'll be like, go see Sally P in corner. Get your son a t-shirt.
Sally P.
Big up
right.
Sally P.
Hey up, Sally.
And what were we on about?
That gigs and steps forward, where Joey Collins is going after.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
COVID
This year,
world.
wasn't it? It was like this year's been fantastic. Like, released 2 EPs. Obviously did the BBC thing last week. Played a gig in London with the band, supporting my mate Kit Trigg in like February time, and just, I don't know, just been a very introspective time, and I'm hoping that when we come out, like when everyone comes out of this, you know, pandemic, whenever it'll be, we all kind of get an urge to, you know, start supporting,
be together, support
and,
local business,
yeah,
local
definitely,
musicians, local artists.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, if this doesn't do it, then fuck knows what will. Because, you know, it's a struggle getting your mates down to gigs. Like, come on, mate, I'm playing this Friday, coming down, and you know, I'll be there, mate, 100%.
I think you've got to look at it in that light, because obviously during this time, it's been the biggest time for divide as well.
Yeah.
Politics coming through stronger than ever before. People people are living in constant state of fear. Like you said, your mum, who's this loveliest woman ever, is at the shop and then they're already biting at each other. I hope people go, do you know what, this has been really hard, let's do better, let's look for better, let's come together, because that's where we know, like this time of Christmas time, where we feel the best is when everyone's just on this level together, wanting each other to, there's a word for this, it's like a wholesome feeling, wholesome aspects of our nature. Yeah, collective attitude. I'm an optimist in a bit of a realist state.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. My glass isn't half full or half empty. It's just like, right, this is the water in the glass. What we're going to do to fill it.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we need to be.
Definitely, man.
Beautiful. So, right, tell me about your Christmas, mate. Give me a plan through your day. I want to hear about what you're going to be doing.
Hopefully not working. Hopefully not delivering some
pizzas.
Christmas pizza.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not working Christmas Day. I think.
Do you have a regime? Are you quite strict on how Christmas looks?
Nah. As long as there's a few tinnies in, I'm happy.
Yeah, baby.
Get that gammon or turkey, whatever. I don't even know what's cooking this year.
Do you have an order of how you open presents?
It's
Who's
just,
in the house?
It just tickled me because it's reminded me of Christmas growing up. Because it'd be me, my brother, and my stepbrother.
Nice.
And we'd all have the bags and that. And obviously, like, if one of them opened, like, the Toblerone, and then the next one would be like, I might as well open my Toblerone.
Yeah.
Just made me laugh, like, thinking of that. But, no, I think this year, I think we've all given up in terms of, like, oh, it's got to be like this. We're just going to get together, and that's the most important thing. And, you know, have a nice time, see my mum, see my family. Hopefully see my dad. I've only seen my dad once this year, so
bless you, man.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. And work hard. See out the new year. And
bless you, mate.
Yeah, man.
Well, Joey, tell people where they can find all your stuff, where they can search for.
JoeyCollinsMusic.com.
And what you've told everyone what's next. When's the track with Rhythmical Mike coming out? The new.
Whenever you.
The new.
Whenever you let me know, baby.
Mate, I'm so ready to collab with you again.
Yeah, man.
Awesome time.
Well, let's sort it out, because, like I say, I've wrapped up this kind of chapter of stuff now, so it's like
we just
I'm
need
ready.
Something. Well, I recken we could even try and go for some major chords in there.
I reckon we could go for the Christmas song.
Yeah,
Get your little Christmas rapping.
I'm gonna have to go through every Christmas song ever done, look through the lyrics, and see what's not been done, what's not been said. Not got many words left.
We'll come up with something. Maybe we can incorporate like the bus and like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Christmas fun on the bus.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't very creative, Joey. That's your least creative thing you've ever said.
I know.
Guys, Merry Christmas to you all. I'm going to bring out a few podcasts during this Christmas period and see all my mates around this time. Bring them all together. Connect. Thank you for being a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Big love to you all. See you next time. Be nice to one another. I've told you.